Well, hello everybody. Just wanted to hop on here and give just a quick progress update video to our adoption. Nothing really to report right now. We're still just waiting for paperwork to go through and things of that nature. We're just for posterity's sake, it's December 15th of 2020. We just had an election. I think I talked about it in the last video a little bit, but this this election that we're in is just a mess. It's the biggest mess. If you remember back 2000, there was a contested election between Al Gore and George W. Bush in the state of Florida. This one is even a bigger mess than that. There's contests in 6 or 7 different states. It's just been a disaster. Anyway, it's still really unclear who is going to be president. Of course, the media has come out in support of Joe Biden, and however, Donald Trump and his campaign are contesting the election results in several swing states because of some voter irregularities and what appears to be fraud on a massive scale, and there's evidence to support that. Of course, in the media, no evidence whatsoever. So it's just a mess on both sides, really. Trump's team is contesting it both from a legal and from a constitutional standpoint of what he is allowed to do through the Constitution and through some executive orders that he executed a couple years ago. So anyway, we're in the midst of that. The COVID virus is still playing a lot in the progress of our adoption as well. There have been over the past month and a half or so some increased cases worldwide, and so everybody's freaking out about that. And some people who can logically step back and say, well, we are testing more people, therefore we are going to have more cases. But those cool heads are certainly not prevailing when it comes to shutting businesses down and shutting economies down and restrictions on everybody. And that's just a mess as well. That very well may have something to do with our adoption and the timeline as far as going back to Bulgaria and to get Megan and bring her home. So there has been the release of a vaccine this week in the U.S. Obviously some thoughts on both sides about the vaccine. There has even been some talks of some airlines who are requiring people to take a vaccine before they travel, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure how they can do that, but anyway, so that's going on as well. We continue to have weekly calls with Megan. We had it on Zoom for several weeks, and we switched over to Skype this past week, just because it got kind of expensive to pay for Zoom. I was paying for Zoom month by month, and it was just kind of an added cost. So we ditched that cost and went to Skype, which we were basically already paying for through a Microsoft subscription. So we moved it over to Zoom. I think we've had 8 calls with her, and we just continue to be impressed with her and her attitude and her, just the things that she's been saying to us, and the conversations we've been having with her. She continues to take English lessons twice a week with her English tutor. I actually got the opportunity, Sonny and I both got the opportunity to sit in on one of her English lessons last week, just to kind of see how it was and how it went, and she's just doing very well, and there's just no doubt in my mind that she's going to do very well with learning English once she gets over here. She just needs a little self-confidence, I believe. But she's going to be fine. She's going to do great. Again, as far as the adoption process, we are just waiting on a court date at this point. We've got some paperwork, some additions to our home study, some additions to our USCIS paperwork. Eli turned 18 in November. That, I believe, it definitely caught us off guard. I think from an agency standpoint, it caught them off guard as well. It wasn't kind of an afterthought. So once he turned 18, we had to file some additional paperwork since he is legally an adult now. So he had to have a background check and so that some fingerprints taken and such. And so we had to have that done over the past couple of weeks, update that paperwork. And still just waiting. As far as I know, everything is on track and nothing is late, and the timeline is has stayed pretty consistent, even with the addition of Eli's paperwork. And we are still just waiting on a court date. We spoke with Shane at World Links yesterday, or we got an email from him saying that we should know, have a better idea anyway of when our court date would be after the first of the year. So I'm hoping that, January, February, we would have a court date, and we ideally would be heading over, looking like, late February, early March of 2021 in order to get her and to bring her home. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Those, they're just estimates as far as the timeline of some other people. We've been following some other people on Facebook and seeing where they are. And there's a lot of factors in that, a lot of variables, and but that's probably a pretty realistic timeline would be February or March to go back over to Bulgaria and get her. So that's kind of where we're at now. Not really too much else to report, but if anything comes up, I'll be sure to post another video. Hope you have a good day. Bye.